So hi everybody and welcome back to this Unreal Engine 5 full game tutorial series for absolute beginners. This is video 102 and in this video I want to do a introduction tutorial for my game, and the reason is in my last video I showed you that my game is very bad. So to do this I thought the best way is, or let's say not the best way, one way is just to make an introduction to all controls and also what the player should do at start. And I prototyped here something. Let me show you this. So when I start the game, it pops up a widget. This is just a prototype, no style, just to test it. And this widget says just press what you should do. Perhaps I would should write here press keyboard WSD to walk. So then he can try this and then use mouse to look around. And then first you have to click here OK. Let's see if I find this cultist. And now he can try his mouse to look around and press the WSD. And you can see I made this here one more time. So not only at the start. While he's walking, I made this one more time because a reminder WSD to walk, and perhaps here one more reminder to watch with the mouse around. And my next idea is perhaps I should also introduce the player how to click and take objects. So he can move around, and then I need an instruction, another box here perhaps, who says explore this area while you press WSD. So then he tries to explore this area, something like that. And then here a new box and say try to pick up this lighter. And this time I put the lighter here in the middle because the lighter is anyway bad, anyway not very visible. And then another instruction, you have to get closer because that was a problem as well. You can see I can't select now the lighter. Perhaps I have to change here the radius. How I can select this lighter, or I made a new system, but I skipped this part because that would take a long. So I say just move a little bit closer, you can see, and then he can select this. And perhaps we have to change here this mouse font. You can see it becomes a circle. Instead of becoming a circle, perhaps I should change this to a hand, so a grabbing hand, right? And then he can click on it, and we have clicked the next item. So I showed him how to click an item, and then we need a new introduction to say how to use this item. Now you clicked it, now press 4 to use the item. So now he knows how he can use the lighter, and perhaps we have also give him instruction that he can interact with this candle here and go there close, and it's again not visible. That's bad. Again, we need here something new for this font to make it more visible, and then he can go here and click on it and the light is out, something like that, right? And this is what I'm going to do. And the good thing is all this kind of stuff what I showed you here we more or less already know. It is just a widget at start. This is one way I show you my widget. You can see my prototype widget. I just created a widget, throw in a canvas, then a little bit text and a button, and that's it. So we know how to do this. And then the next thing is, of course, we can also use this box, boxes which I have here. You can notice boxes here. These boxes which we created one time and we reuse them all time again. They are tagged. So when I walk over this box, let me go here to the details panel and write here tag. You can see this box are tagged and they will react depends on this tag name. That was one of my other videos. Of course, we can use this one too to trigger this. And that is the problem with this prototyping, because I said it's a prototype. So you can see I just throw it here at start, for example, this widget here in my game mode, horror engine game mode. So when I go here to the world settings and go down here to this game mode section, you can see this is my horror engine game mode. When I open up this one, you can see this is exactly this one here, and I just throw in my code to just call this widget. And I think by now you should know this because I showed you all time how to create a widget and how to assign this very basics here. So I think I'm not doing this again. And what I want to mention is, because this is a prototype, this is perhaps not the right perhaps not the best way to do it. So you have to think later how you can change this place. Perhaps you say, let's put them all in a function and call it separately to make it more visible. Or perhaps this place is absolutely wrong in this game mode, something like that. But as a prototype, that's why it's called a prototype, you just throw it in and make it very fast, right? So what I did here is nothing very special. You can see event begin play, all that what you do with a widget in general. Here you create the widget, this node create widget, like all time. I make it fast so you can follow a little bit on. Here I just this create widget, right? Then I have specified my widget, which I have created this tutorial. I called it tutorial 1 because there is many tutorial steps. And then what we do with all time with widget is add to viewport. We know this. And here's something what you should remember that caused a little bit problem because I forgot it, is that this add to viewport has this little arrow down. And here you should set this a little bit higher. The reason for that is when you go back here and start here, for example, the game. Okay, because I have now made this other thing. Sec. Let's connect it here again. So let me show you this fast again. So when you go here, because we have here actually 2 widgets right now. You can see this dot here is my other widget, my gameplay widget, and this other widget I have in front now. That's why you have to set the set order higher, that it's in front. If you don't do this, your mouse will not react to this widget here. That's very important. It was a little bit annoying, but I say it to you so you don't make the mistake like me. That is very important here to remember, because then you can select your widget. And here what you see is what I have done is the standard way. I have said, okay, I need the mouse cursor because my widget which I created has a button. After I read this, I press OK, and then I continue with my game, right? This is one way. So you can see, just get the player controller. Let's do this fast. Get player controller, like old time. Where's the there on top? Okay, get player controller. The player controller is all time the controller which is moving your pawn. So this is standard call. And then you say here show mouse cursor, set, not get, set show mouse cursor. It's called set show mouse cursor. And then you can tick this little checkbox or untick, depends on if you show it or not show it. First we want show it, later we want uncheck this box, because we later when we continue with the game, the in-game cursor should be activated again. And then what I did is set input mode, and you can see the input mode means because I want to activate this widget here, right? That's why I changed the game mode, I mean the mode, the input mode. So you can drag out here, right, mode, and then you have here different kind of modes. Is this mode? Not really, but you can write here, actually it's here down. It's here in input, so input, and then here, and you can see we have here 3 modes. The one is set input mode, mode UI only, which is just the widget, or the game only, which we will set it later, or both. And what you do here is just UI only, because you want only select this new created widget selectable, because you don't want that the player should do something other. Only later when he press OK, then we unset all and he can continue with the game. All right, that's cool. And of course, what you have to provide here is the player controller. That's that from here. No worry, that's very fast, very easy. And what you have to provide also to focus on the widget, and it is the widget which we just created. This is this one here. Of course, I just connected here very fast, but later you can make this with promoting 2 variables if you don't want to have here so long lines like me to make it more visible. But that's all for this one here. So with that said, that was the first part. You can see I delete this because I have this, the one is the same. All right. And now what I did here is when you click OK, the OK button here in my widget, let me show you this graph too. So what I did here in my widget graph, which is also, you can make this in different ways, is one way is I created here in the construct game reference to my game mode. So like old time, get game mode, cast to your game mode. In my case, it's this horror game engine mode, this one here. I cast to this one, and then where I am here, and then make a variable promote to variable like old time, so that we have access. This one is not preferred. There are better ways, so that you have not to create it all time. I make this one just to, it's very fast on this YouTube tutorials, but there are sometimes you can use this function library. So you create it one time and call all time the function library where you have this one. But careful about this function libraries. There are sometimes problems, not all time. So you have just to check it if it works. If it works, perfect. If not, make this one. It will not break your game. Or there are even other workarounds, but this one will definitely work for us now. And then what I make is just here react on click. So I get here a button, I styled it just for fun a little bit. And then of course one of this on this events, you can scroll down here in details. You have your events on click on press. And here you have to read later if you make this on mobile, because click and press is not the same. Not exactly the same, but they behave on desktop similar, I think. So there is no problem. So I use the click, but just read in case what the difference here is. In my case, it works right now for my testing. And yeah, with that said, what happens is I did just create a custom event. So because I made here my reference to my game mode, here is my game mode. And here I created a custom event, which I want call. So this one should call. What is a custom event again? Like all time, right click, write custom event. And here add custom event. And then you can specify a name, what you want. Let's call this tutorial 2, for example. And let's call this also tutorial 2 clicked, something like that. Because this click means just I have to click this later here in my box here. When I click, you can see this one calls my custom event. When I double click on it, it jumps here. So with the custom event will be triggered later. So which means this event here is just here to reset all the things what I have here. What I mean with that is you can see, first of all, I removed the widget which I just created before. That was this widget here. We have to reparent it. There are two ways you can use. One is remove all widget, but careful, when I remove all widget, the other widget, my gameplay widget, is removed as well. That's why I have to use the other one. Let's use remove from parent. Okay, it's not visible here, and the reason for that is you need here first a widget selected and this return value. All right, or you can make, I think it's also possible to write remove from, because and then deselect this one. But then you have here a lot of things from parent, and then it pops up, and you can get, this is one way, or the easier way is probably to just you find the widget which you want. For example, in my case, this one is not the best solution. Again, here, just make it down. You can create here this one, just promote this to a variable, and then you can use the variable in all places where you want, instead making here so many lines. But for prototyping, like I said, I just set it here. Perfect, that's enough for me. And then I remove only this widget here from parent. The play game widget will be activated. And again, here we activated the mouse cursor. Here I deactivate the mouse cursor. You can see I just copied here and unchecked the box here. It's exactly the same. And here, what we have here, the player controller, set input mode game only. This is the same thing like here. Here I get the player controller and set the input mode here to UI, so only the widget like I showed you. And here I reset it, so again from the I get the player controller here, but this time I set mode this here game only the game, so that we are focused again. And I think the other thing what I have here was already from other stuff. So that was what I made, and this is one way to do this, right? So just make instructions. And this is just the template. Of course, you can call this template with these boxes here.
Let's see if I find this card.
With this boxes again. So this is one other way. So you know these boxes, right? I created these boxes to make all sound and instructions as well. This is another way. And these boxes can be used, like, let me show you this one. First of all,
let's see if I
like
find
I
this
use it here. So it just shows me another information here. And it can even make sound. Let me go show you this again.
It's dark. I have to use the lighter.
You can see now I have here info text and sound. But we can use also this box to trigger our just created widget. So that's also interesting. So when I edit this one, you can see what I did here is I just, again, these are my different options. I made this also only very fast with the sequencer. The sequencer is checking, and if the tag is right, it will execute this. We have talked already about this kind of stuff. And what I made here is just another one, but this is not very important. What I want to show you here is that you can call from here as well as our widget, right? This one here, so another widget, not this one, or perhaps call it and change the text here. But I think I show you this perhaps in the next video, because this video is already long enough. And I hope you get the idea. Our job is just make it sure that the player, when he starts, get to use the controls, get to use what he has to do. And yeah, that will help a lot.
Let's see if I find this.
I think that will help a lot the player at start to get into the game, instead of asking many questions, what to do, how I do this, and what now, and all this the questions. So like I had in my last video with the test, it was a very bad test for me. This game was not really playable for my test person. And I think this one will improve it. Of course, I make this again offline, all this kind of stuff here. Online, I showed you only what I want to make it. It was a prototype, and you should try this one as well. And this introduction is very important, I think. Very, very important, so that the player can go in. And with that said, I stop here this video. If you have any questions like all time, write in the comment section. And see you in the next video. Bye, good luck, and have fun.